A lot of people wonder, FOMO, what altcoins are you actually going to buy for the next crypto bull market? And in this video, I would like to show you exactly what I'm putting my money into. If you like that kind of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification so you won't miss out on anything. And for a change, if you respond under this video, you have a chance of winning $50 of BUSD. Just say anything. Helps me getting into the YouTube algorithm a little bit, and it's a nice way of rewarding this community. Let's get right into this. Now, as you may know, I'm not much of a fan of buying altcoins right now. And that's simply because altcoins are just still going down. And you might be like, well, it's not really that bad. It is. It is actually that bad. So before I'm going to talk about what altcoins I'm exactly going to buy, I would like to show you also when I am going to buy them, because timing is probably more important than the specific projects that you are in. You can buy a very good project, but if you got your timing wrong, you still can get wrecked, right? So if you look at the total 3, the altcoin market right here, you know, it is still making lower lows and lower highs, although we had an official higher low right here. So that trend has changed. So on the dollar pair, the altcoin market might look like it is bottoming out, right? But is it really? If you take a look at the altcoin market on its Bitcoin pair, then it looks totally different, right? It's now in a downtrend. So here is where the bear market started in November 2021, which was right here, right? All the way up till basically beginning this year, the altcoin market was holding up against Bitcoin. But now, since this year, it is finally coming down, and it already came down 40%. You might feel like, yeah, well, that's against Bitcoin. I don't give a fuck about Bitcoin in the first place. That's not really what you should take a look at, right? Because if altcoins now finally are crashing against Bitcoin, but they are barely holding up against the dollar right now, okay, how would altcoins look like on the dollar pair when Bitcoin finally decides to go down? I think we can get a huge discount on altcoins still. And some people hate me for that. They'll be like, ah, you're a freaking altcoin bear and you should have bought the dip. If I bought right here, right, it's been going down. Like, patience is key, okay? So I really want to say that. I'm not saying in this video, you go buy these altcoins right now. I don't want to shill you shit, right? I don't want to make you lose money by screaming alt season every time we get a 5% pump, or just buy the dip, because you buy the accumulation zone and you do not buy the downtrend, right? So that's very simple. Also, for the people that misunderstood, I'm trying to buy the bottom, okay? I'm not going for this point right here. I'm going for the complete face, the bottom face, right? It's way better than buying the way down. Why would you? Because you have FOMO. Well, okay, shut your emotions off and try again, okay? Because otherwise you're throwing your money away. Now, what altcoins am I going to buy for the next bull run to really make it, which is safe and which is high reward? Therefore, we can, of course, take a look of what's already here, right? I like crypto gaming a lot. I think that that's going to be freaking huge. AI, the combination of that, liquid staking, all that kind of stuff. But if we, for example, now take a look at Gala, right? Okay, Gala, it's coming down, and overall, if you just dollar cost here, you probably get a decent entry. If you look on its Bitcoin pair, it's going down very hard right now. We could take it all the way down right here, and you'll see that it's just in a falling wedge. So, you know, that's again about timing, of course, but these are kind of projects that I feel like, okay, we'll put some money probably into that when the time is right, because I don't know if Gala is going back to its all-time high or not, but I do know that the lower the entry, you know, the less it takes for us to make a lot of money with it anyway. But key in crypto is really being early. That's all it is. Right? It doesn't matter if a project is like extremely good or just decent, because in a bull market, it will make you profits anyway. You see what Gala did right here in the bull market, right? Starting in August, the bull market was already going on. It did fantastic. Well, if you were early, you made a lot of money with that, right? How are you actually able to be early without taking a huge ton of risk? Well, that's by investing through something that decreases the risk for you. And that brings me to this. There's this website, market, save it, check it out. CryptoRank.io. It's no, not sponsored, whatever. I use this. What is this? Well, this is a complete. They have a lot of information right here. It's not important. What I look at is IDO/ICO, and I go to Launchpads. This is what I'm interested in. Now, for example, Seedify. Seedify has their native token S-Fund. For the people that do not know what this is, you are going to slap yourself so freaking hard in the next bull run if you now did not take the small effort to research this. Okay, so please listen. Seedify is a crypto gaming native, but now also AI launchpad. They were the best launchpad, and I'm not quite sure if they are right now, but Seedify, in my opinion, is not going anywhere. You don't know, it can die, right? Therefore, I also always say, like, okay, wait a little bit with altcoins, because we are still in the phase of the market where projects can die, right? But assuming that this won't want, all right, let me take this one as an example. Seedify is a crypto gaming launchpad, and a crypto gaming launchpad, a launchpad, basically you need to buy this token, S-Fund token, the native token of Seedify. The more tokens you have, the higher your allocation is going to be that you can invest in new projects that they release. All right. Now, Seedify was at the last bull run sitting at around $18. It's now 77 cents. In this particular case, you had to have 100,000 S-Fund tokens to get the highest tier. Here it would have cost you $1.8 million though. Now it will cost you $77,000. If it gets to like 30 cents, well, it costs you $30,000. So it's getting, and you can take lower tier as well, which is more affordable for you, whatever, doesn't matter. But therefore, I want to have a lot of these Launchpad tokens. Now, if you have a good bag of these tokens that you can accumulate for these cheap prices in the bear market, you can stack for the coming bull market. And if we, in this case, go to Seedify right here, you can see a lot of information. You can see the projects that they released. You can see the current price, 24-hour change, the market cap, the volume, but also the ROI. So from the moment you invested in the pre-sale until today, what is it worth, right? So in this case, it's hard for Seedify to show you good numbers. Why? Seedify started, didn't went to a complete cycle yet, right? So most of the projects that they released it in the bull market. So all these projects, they went through the bear market. Well, they have a lot of vesting going on, of course. Plus, it's a bear market, so all these projects are down right now, right? So if you just hold on to these projects, if you invest right now and you hold on until the next bull, then you will do pretty well, probably. But if you invest in the bull and you hold on until the bear, yeah, then it's going to zero anyway. So once you get your vesting, in that case, you might want to consider selling it for a good profit already. If you look at the all-time high ROI, this is interesting. Now, let me filter this by date, by ROI. So the projects that they released, Blocktopia did a 700x from the pre-sale price to the highest price. Now, I want to say already, you will get the pre-sale price. So that's the beautiful thing. You will get the lowest price, right? And the nice thing about these launchpads is, and it depends a little per launchpad how that works actually, but nice thing is that they have a refund policy, right? So it means that if you invest in a token and you spend $1 for one token, whatever, it comes out and it turns out that in a matter of like a couple days, weeks, months, I don't know, the token price goes below $1, then these launchpads say, okay, sorry, well, here's your money back. The project didn't perform well. So the risk is very low when it comes to that, right? If you buy something on the open market and it goes below your price, then yeah, whatever, that's on you. So that's cool about launchpads. Now it's on you, of course, to sell it for the highest price possible. I mean, Blocktopia touched a 698x. But yeah, you probably could have sold one out of your 10 vestings for that price, right? Some you sold for 30x, some you sold for 50 or 100x. But still, these returns are fucking sick. And you have to imagine that all of these, and the site is not showing very well. I don't know what the problem is with them lately. But this was all end of 2021 in the bull market, right? So if you get these returns in the bull market, weekly, monthly, more weekly, then you made a 700x, 185x, a 170x, 109x. That's insane, right? And that's just one launchpad. If you go to DAO Maker, it's not really that different. All-time high ROI. Look at this. 300, 300, 300, 200, 170, 160, 150, 150, 90. Also all in the bull market, right? It's quite insane. GameFi is, I think this is a more new one. I'm not completely sure about that. What does it? Yeah, 2021 or whatever. If you look at their all-time high ROI, also insane numbers. Right? So that's so beautiful about these launchpads. You get the cheapest price. You invest before tokens get onto the market. Yeah, and there are always projects that perform well. Right? The problem was when this project, for example, released, this was in the bull. Right after GameFi itself came out. So you weren't probably able to get a lot of GameFi tokens to get a big allocation for this project because GameFi itself was very expensive. Right, if you look at GameFi, it's now $3.34. But if you look where it was in the last bull run, it was sitting at $200. Right? That's quite a difference. So, and that's the beautiful thing as well, that if you invest in, for example, in this case, GameFi, it doesn't really matter what happens to the price itself, because that's not how you make the money. Usually you invest in crypto, you buy here to do this, right? It doesn't matter. You can buy here and it comes down. Yeah, the only difference, the problem is you could have got a lot more of these tokens in that case and a higher allocation, but you don't, you know, your income doesn't rely on the direction of the token, right? It can go up or down as long as they release projects is good. This thing is crashing freaking hard, by the way, at the moment. I don't know what's up with them. But that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm looking at, launchpads, and that's what's going to make me a lot of money. Now, there are a couple of launchpads that I have my eyes on, and I can show you how I find those. So then we have to go back to CryptoRank, and it kind of depends on what you want. You can filter all these launchpads. You can check out, okay, what's their all-time high ROI on average, right? And you can look right here, like, Ethereum pad, ETH pad. Did on average in 91x. Well, you can go to the project and you can see what's the all-time high ROI. Well, they got a couple of launches. Most of them did very well, and a lot of them did well, and the other half did not really do very well. Right, but then you are looking like, okay, but they just released 9 projects. When did they release the last project? Well, that's quite some time ago, I know for a fact, but again, it's lagging right here. But you can see what's active right now. Nothing. What's upcoming? Nothing. Does this launchpad, is it still active in the first place? Well, you can go to the Twitter, you can find out like, okay, they're following, you can do your typical research, right? And the last time they actually tweeted something, well, they retweeted something 1.5 months ago. Other than that, when they really tweeted something themselves, it's like March. So you can, it's safe to say that this project is at least or dead or not giving a shit anymore. And in both cases, you don't want to get involved, right? They're not active anymore. So great, good returns, but yeah, no more, right? Then you can take a look what's there. And let me filter it the right way. Here we go. So here we go. Then you, for example, see a the website isn't really working for me. Whatever, doesn't matter. Then you can see like, okay, Red Kite. Well, they have a good ROI, right? The projects that they release doing well. What's their all-time high ROI? Oh, Blocktopia as well, GameFi, DreamQuest, Sidus Heroes, Meta Wars, a lot of big projects that you probably know about, right? Synverse, Warina, cool. Okay, interesting. What is the entry? So to get the lowest tier, to get an allocation in that launchpad, you have to invest at least $55. Well, that's very doable. There are also launchpads like TrustSwap. You cannot even get in unless you have already $500. Right? That's a lot more expensive. So it depends on you, right? But you also want to take a look at the higher tiers, okay? Because Red Kite, you know, the lowest tier is $55, but maybe you get like $10 allocation. Yeah, okay, not so interesting. And maybe it's the case that if you want to get one slightly higher tier, you suddenly have to pay $1,000, right? So before you invest in something like that, you want to check that out, of course. And you can go to the website, to the socials, and you can just look for the tier system in that case. yeah, and what I also, of course, always do is I just research the team, the community. Is it still active? What are they building right now? And let me see, what's their token ticker? PKF. Oh, yeah, makes sense. PKF. So, this is their token. It's $50 million market cap. It's low cap. They have a fully diluted, which is quite, you know, close to each other. Also quite low cap. They are basically only on Uniswap, yeah, and Gate, but what the fuck is Gate lately? And then you would just want to look at the price, like, okay, is it holding up? Well, it's so far in this market, it's not doing bad. There are definitely projects that are doing worse. So it might be, right, after you check the socials and all, might be worth to take a look at Red Kite. So that's how I am playing it. And it's very easy right now. It's very easy. But you want to be careful, again, because you do not know. And I'm going to save this, by the way, for our own project. But again, you do not know if, well, for example, Red Kite is going to survive the bear market, right? You want to let it play out. Same scenario that I gave you just now. GameFi, I have it on my radar, but I haven't bought anything. I've been looking at it for like months already. And it has been going down ever since. Right? It just a couple of like weeks ago, it was sitting 3 times as high, right? So you actually like, you want to see whenever some of these projects create a very stable price floor, right? And then it might be interesting. As long as it's going down, and that goes for every crypto. People say, I love to buy the dip. If you keep on buying the dips, you're throwing so much money away, because every dip is followed by a new dip so far. So when does it stop? You don't know, right? The chart doesn't show. That's showing that it's skydiving right now. So yeah, compared to where it came from, it's low. But maybe we can also say that in a couple of months when it's like 50 cents or so, right? And then you also regret buying it. So don't rush into shit. That's another thing that I really want to mention. But therefore, launchpads. Now, I'm specifically looking at Seedify. Engine Starter is doing really well lately. I just invested in Decubate. I have to take a look though, because this price chart is like it's high, right? But Decubate is really doing well lately, and they're quite low cap still, so that's interesting. DAO Maker is one of the biggest launchpads at the moment, but I don't know about DAO Maker. It's pretty expensive. Pulse is a good launchpad, but also the price is not showing anything really promising so far. Soulraiser is like an extremely high risk, high reward project, but it's something that I have on my radar. And for the rest, it's also a matter of what's coming out in the coming months, what's good, right? You have launchpads on Arbitrum, on Sui, you have like ChainGPT released their own launchpad. There are launchpads being built as well. And therefore, you want to wait and see how this market plays out, and don't rush into shit, because that's the way to get wrecked. So that's how I'm going to play the market. I'm betting very big on launchpads, because new IDOs, pre-sales, etc. just often do very well. So if you like the content, please like the content, subscribe to the channel, turn on your bell notification, leave a comment, and I will take these comments into one of the next videos as well. See you then.